What is up, West Forsyth High School cross country? It is This Week in Cross Country, starring you. This is Coach G. Want to give you an update on what our plan is for the week. I think this should be helpful for those of you who are in town so that you know what to expect over our training objectives over the week. And then for those of you who are out of town, to the best of your ability, if you're going to be able to get your runs in, try to replicate what we've got going on at practice so that when you come back from having your vacation and having a lot of fun, you know that you've check those boxes to take advantage of all the training you've done so far this summer. We are 7 weeks into our training plan, nearly 2 months. And that is the time, if you have been running with us pretty consistently all summer, to where you should be starting to hit your groove now. Things that we've learned at practice, our warm up procedure, the drills that we do, getting ready, mentally and physically prepared to be able to run on a regular basis, figuring out whatever you need to do with your nutrition plan, your hydration plan, doing what you got to do before you get to practice. So, like going to the bathroom while you're running isn't an issue. It seems silly to talk about those things, but literally, you cannot get a group of runners together to talk for very long without having to discuss, like, what do you do when you got to go? And it's not fun. But you're starting to figure some of those things out. And that's what it means to be able to be a runner, kind of getting into that consistent groove, kind of getting on a roll where things are starting to feel more regular. And part of this is a biology deal, right? Because you're starting to teach your brain what it feels like to be a serious, committed runner. And your body is changing all the time. We've talked about this before, but every time you run, you're forcing that muscle that's in the middle of your chest, your heart, to get stronger, to be able to push more highly oxygenated blood to your working muscles. Your body's growing more capillaries to be able to get that blood more efficiently to your working muscles. All sorts of cool biology stuff is happening. You literally have changed your biology over the last 7 weeks, and that's exciting. And that's what it's going to take to be able to compete at your best level once it gets time for us to go get serious and get after it. And that's coming up so soon. And some of you may be dreading the competitive season. You'll get over that, I promise. You're going to look forward to races because we try to make them as fun as we can. And those of you who are like me and you just can't wait, like, hang in there. Time trial will come soon enough. So here's our plan for the week. Again, I'm a little bit of a slacker. I'm now doing this one day into our training plan already. So for those of you who are at practice, we just did regular easy running. We did hurdle mobility drills, which again are trying to work towards making you stronger, more athletic, and especially for the girls, stronger in your hips. Your biology is built differently than guys, and if you have really strong hips, it's going to help you be less injury prone and also like stronger, faster, more capable as a runner. Important for guys too, but especially on the girls' side. And then we did heel lowers on the stairs. So where you basically raise, it's not a calf raise. We are not trying to build big, strong calves by doing this. We do plenty of running. Your calves get plenty of exercise in that way. The idea on what we do is you put your foot like halfway on a stair, and then you're going to raise up on 2 feet. So that's basically the calf raise part. Then you're going to shift your weight over onto one foot, pick this foot up, and you're going to lower on this one into a nice deep stretch on that calf on one side. You're going to put the other foot back down, and you're going to raise back up on two, and then shift that weight lower down. So 10 on each side. I haven't been nearly as consistent asking you guys to do this summer as I should have, but it's definitely going to help you with shin splints. It's going to help you um, in a lot of ways. So this is one of those things to where if I don't remember, help me out, athletes. Remind me or remind each other that you should do these. Let's try to do them almost at every practice. And if we forget to do them here, do them at home. It's easy. Grab a set of stairs. It takes like literally a minute, and it's something that will definitely help for sure as our team goes on during the season. Tomorrow, we're going to be back over at Fowler. We're going to do a little bit of tempo to get good and warmed up, and then we're going to do some hill running. Our repeats are probably going to be uh, pretty long this time. They're going to be in the nature of 400 meters. So if you're at the beach, you're not going to be able to find a 400-meter hill. You're just not. Like there aren't hills like that. Maybe there's a few like overpasses, but whether if they unless they have like a really good walking or running lane or someplace like that, it's going to be tough for you to find hills. So you may not be able to replicate this one exactly. Um, but again, hills for us are uh, helping us make up for work that we could be doing in a weight room or in a gym to try to build strength in your backside mechanics. So in your glutes, the big muscles on the backside of your rear end, your hamstrings. Runners tend to be pretty quad dominant, which are those muscles on the front of your legs. And we need to work on the backside mechanics that help make us really strong. It also reinforces really good running positioning because you're going to have to use your arms to be able to drive yourself to get up the hill. And you can't get into those bad habits like I see some runners do to where they're all way out in the front and they're doing the boxing thing, or they don't get any um, movement of that elbow all the way back and their hand back down by their hip. So it kind of reinforces good mechanics and it gets you up on the balls of your feet. So the faster that you run, the further you'll get off of your heel. Not everybody is a hard heel striker for regular easy distance days, but most people are heel strikers or at least midfoot strikers. The faster you run, kind of the further forward you get on your body. So for us running those hills where you have to kind of get up on your toes, it helps to prepare you to be ready when we do races that all of a sudden, like the next 48 hours after a race, you aren't like super sore in your calves because you're not used to be running up on the ball of your toes. So hill running reinforces really good running mechanics, which is a big reason why we do it. And because it challenges you a little bit mentally. You know, you go see a big hill and you're like, yikes, running up that hill is going to be tough. And it is. And we do that on purpose. We need you to be strong, not only in your body. So, like, we talk a lot about making your booty muscle strong and all this sort of stuff. But where you really want to be strong is right here, the 6 inches between your ears. We're going to make you strong. We are going to make you confident. Not just because we think it's the right thing to do for running and because you'll get more enjoyment out of it and you'll race better, but also because you want to be strong and resilient in the face of whatever challenges life throws at you. So, and you're going to come across a million of them in your life. And just because it's a challenge doesn't make it bad. You have to be prepared to be really, really strong in your mind to where when stuff gets tough and you look at it in advance, but you're going to. I mean, some of you are going to decide to be doctors. And the path that it takes to become a physician, what all that's going to require academically, your commitment to doing some of the work that's necessary to become a physician. If you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to have to take a bar exam. There are things that you're going to set your mind to that you're going to look at and you're going to say, I know that's difficult in advance. Just like standing at the bottom of a hill and looking at a hill, you look at it and say, wow, I know that's difficult. I choose to do it anyway. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I know that it makes me better, it makes me stronger, it makes me more resilient. And those are the building blocks that you need both to be a good runner and to be successful at all the other things that you do in your life. So we're going to do some hills. We love hills. We talk a lot about Liz Galarza because she's the best runner we've ever had at our school. She recently ran the Peachtree Road Race. She was the first non-professional runner in the field, which is pretty amazing. She even split the Peachtree Road Race, and what even split means is she ran the same average pace for the second half of the race as she did for the first half of the race, which is crazy because if you looked at Peachtree Road Race on an elevation map, the first half is downhill, and the second half is uphill. And in her Strava post on the race, she was pretty happy how she had done after the race was over. And she said, I got to the hills and I loved hills. Liz has always said that. Our state meet course is hilly. She is the only athlete in our school's history who's ever won a state meet. And a big reason was because she just decided she loved hills. So we're going to love us some hills tomorrow. Wednesday, regular mileage. Thursday, we're going to be back out at Fowler. We're going to do 800-meter repeats, half miles, and it's going to have a short recovery. So it's going to be somewhere between a minute and a minute and a half, and it's either going to be a walk or a jog, depending upon how long it takes you to get back to where our starting point is, because our start and end point aren't in the same place. So short recovery on those. We're going to do somewhere between 4 and 8 reps. So if you're a newer athlete, if you're a freshman, if this is your first time doing it, you're probably only going to do 4. If you're one of our most experienced people who've been around for a long time, you're going to do 8. And we'll figure out where you are on that continuum at practice or if you're going to do them on your own. And we're going to do those at sort of a faster tempo pace. So it may be as fast as what your 5K race pace is at this point, but we're not going to worry too much about the watch. We know that this is going to be one of our first workouts where we're going to try pretty hard, but it's only for a half mile, so it's not a super long rep. But this is our way of kind of easing you into what it's going to feel like to race at 5K. And after it's over, we're going to do 4 times 150-meter striders, and we're going to do them at a progressive acceleration. So your first 50 meters is going to be kind of striderish. Your second 50 meters is going to be a little faster than that. And your last 50 meters is going to be basically simulating what you'd like to feel like at the end of a 5K cross country race when you're battling against somebody from another team and you want to beat them pretty bad, because that's good for you and it's good for the team and all that other sort of stuff. So that's the game plan for Thursday. Friday, easy mileage, popsicles, as always. And then Saturday, I'm pretty excited. We originally had planned a different venue, but we're going to a new park. It's just opening. Actually, it had a soft opening recently, but its official grand opening week is this week. And actually, on Saturday afternoon, they're going to have like a big grand opening thing with entertainment and food and all this other sort of stuff. It's called Cauley Creek Park. It's officially in Duluth, but it's not super far away. So maybe a tiny bit farther away than Chattahoochee Point Park, but not much further. So please don't not come because you think it's really far away. I think when I did Google Maps from West Forsyth High School, it was like a 25-minute drive, maybe somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. So not super far. Hey, in Atlanta, if there's traffic, and for those of you parents who commute, like that could just be a couple of miles on the freeway. So it's not that far. Um, the reason I'm excited about this venue is it's brand new and cool. It has a 5K uh, one loop where you don't have to cross any roads, paved path, but it's paved with like rubberized stuff. So it's going to be like running on trails. So soft, but the surface is going to be perfectly consistent. So nobody's going to trip, fall, sprain ankles, do any of that kind of business. So that's kind of cool. Brian Skoglund, who's a guy who ran on our team years ago, ran there recently. There's also like a gravel road that you can go run off of that. That's like a half a mile long. So you can add an out and back mile on gravel, which is really great. And then it's got sports fields, both turf fields and natural grass. I think the natural grass fields are actually going to be for cricket. So for those of you who are cricket fans and haven't had a good venue to be able to do cricket, that's going to be an option over at this park. But anyway, I think we're going to be able to get a really good venue, new place to run. It has great parking, it has great bathrooms, and I think we can get in the Chattahoochee. I think we can still get in the river. It's not quite as easy as at CPP. We may have to like search around a little bit for a good place to get in, but for those of you who should all want to do ice bath afterwards, it's a great way to recover. That'll be an option as well. So that's our plan for the week. Um, as far as mileage is concerned, pretty much if you've been running with us consistently during the summer and you're one of our veteran kinds of runners, we're going to bump up our mileage by about 5 miles this week. So, like our super hardcore varsity guys, juniors and seniors who are healthy and have been running consistently healthy for a long time, they're going to be up to 55 miles this week. Our next tier group of guys down that are also, experienced runners and are really healthy and have been doing it for several years, they're going to be at 45 miles. Our varsity girls, we're going to try to jump you guys up to 35 this week. So you're going to have to be a little bit more disciplined about making sure that you keep track of your mileage during the week so that when you go to do your long run, you'll probably be running 7 or 8 miles on your long run that you get in what you need in the days before so that you've got things covered. For all of our other runners, um, if you've been running pretty consistently with us during the summer, which means, on average, at least 4 or 5 days, whether you're at practice or not at practice, and you're still feeling really, really healthy, you don't have any aches and pains in places that are consistently bothering you over time, then I'd like to ask you to step up your average everyday run during the week by 5 minutes. So let's bump it up 5 minutes. If you've been doing 25 minutes, let's start doing 30 minutes. If you've been doing 20 minutes, let's go to 25. Wherever you're let's kind of move it up 5 minutes on a consistent basis. if you have not been running consistent with us over the summer, your main priority between now and when school starts is to start running consistently. You don't need to be running longer. We don't need to be worrying about how fast you are until you get the consistency piece done. Those of us who've been training with the team regularly over 6 weeks or seven, as we get into our seventh week, they've built up that resiliency to running consistently to where now we're ready to add on. But if you're not at that point yet, adding on without the good consistent running to start is a recipe for you potentially becoming injured. But even if not becoming injured, just at doing too much too soon and not feeling great about your running and being more tired and more sore than what you need to be. So rather than worrying about like how much further or how much faster you're going to be, just be consistent. Shoot for 6 days this week. Shoot to run all 6 days. If you can't do that, I'll take five with 2 rest days and take your rest days sort of in the middle of the week to where you get a couple of days running, a rest day, a couple of days running, a rest day, spread it out like that. But that's going to be the most important thing that you can do. Um, I am looking forward to this season in so many ways. Proud of the work that you've been doing all year. I'm starting into my 11th year coaching at West Forsyth High School. The shirt that I'm wearing is from the very first year that I coached, which will be 11 years ago. It's the 2013 team. On the back of my shirt, wait, let's see if I can show you. It says "We Believe." Says "We Believe," which was our kind of mantra for that particular season. And so we were all about believe a long time before Ted Lasso is, for those of you who are Ted Lasso fans and have watched that show. And I still believe, for sure, in what we can accomplish together as a team and as a program. We're going to be very fast this year. Our new runners are going to learn a lot and they're going to build along the path towards success in the longer term. And we're going to add on to a tradition that's now been going on for 10 years, which is both our boys team and our girls team has qualified to participate in the state meet for each of the last 10 years. In the classification that we're in 7A, there have only been, I think there's four programs other than us that have been able to accomplish that out of all the schools that are in 7A, which is the largest student body classification schools. It's Marietta, it's Walton, it's Mill Creek. Oh, I can't remember who the last one is. It's surprisingly, it's not South or Lambert because I think they each had a year where either the boys or the girls team missed the state meet. But anyway, it's something we can be really proud of. And whether or not you're going to be on our state team this year, or whether you're even aspire to do that, even if that's not the reason why you run and are part of this team, it's a pretty proud tradition that says if we get a group of people together and they like each other and they work together and they strive to each if each person on the team will strive to be the very best person that they can be and the very best runner that they can be and the best teammate that they can be, that creates an environment where success is possible. um, You'll see these things like, and there's so much crap on the internet. You can't believe everything that you hear, but there's one that's out there that kind of rolls around from time to time. Some of you parents may have heard this, some of you athletes may have heard this, but it, it's crazy that they found out that if you just sit in a classroom in close proximity to people who make really good grades, your likelihood of making really good grades goes up and through the roof. And conversely, and this is even if this isn't your friend group. Conversely, if you sit in a classroom in close proximity to people who do poorly in class, then you have a much higher chance of doing poorly in class. And so my point here in that is I believe every single person being part of our team contributes to an environment which allows each one of us to be our best selves. Um, and I mean that for me too, right? Like me being around all of you young people doing the right thing day after day, showing up with smiles on your face, willing to work hard, inspires me to want to be a better person. And I think that that's the environment that we want to have this year that's going to make our team exceptional. We're not just going to be people who have the same uniform on. We're just not going to be the same people who happen to go to the same school. We're going to be the kind of people who feel like that we can individually make a difference in an environment which allows all of us to be our best selves, not only as runners, but as people and eventually as students too, because this discipline and the kinds of things that you're learning right now, as far as, hey, showing up for practice to run even when you don't feel like it, is going to be the thing that's going to help you to study even when you don't feel like it. And it's going to turn into better grades, all that other kind of stuff. Anyway, it's been great to catch back up with you again. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the week at practice. If you're not at practice and if you're at the beach or you're on vacation, have fun. Yeah, runs. Yeah, run anyway. Do it early though. It's going to be so hot. All right, Coach G, signing off. Bye.